Hello, welcome again to Mr. Benjamin's Math World. Today, we are going to learn how to solve linear equations. An equation is an algebraic expression that contains a variable, contains an equal sign, and contains exponent equals to 1. Let's see how we solve simple linear equations. This is the first equation we are going to solve, and it says x plus 1 equals 2. So number 2. What is the objective of solving an equation? It is to find the value of the letter. The name of the letter in an equation is a variable. This x is the variable and the exponent of the variable is equals to 1. When the exponent is not written, it is always 1. So we need to find what number plus 1 equals 2. Obviously, it's very simple. We know this just by taking a look at it. But how is it solved? The idea is to get the variable by itself, alone on the left side. So what we need to do is, in order to leave it alone on this side, is just move the positive one to the right side of the equal sign. Once you do that, then you will have the letter by itself. How do we move one term from one side to another? Well, the idea is that in order to move one term from one side to another side, it has to go with the opposite of the operation. It means this one is adding, so when it's moved to the right side, it goes with the opposite of the addition, which is subtraction. So what we are going to do is just to move the plus 1 to the right side, and it will be subtracting. But let me show you, like in slow motion, how this happens. I'm going to move it to the side. So if I move, I need to subtract it, and then it goes subtracting. So what I did is just, I show you what happens when you subtract 1 to this side and you also subtract the 1 to the other side. The plus 1 goes subtracting. Here it is. But it goes subtracting in both sides. That's the idea you need to understand. It goes subtracting in both sides. But when you have plus 1 minus 1, this cancels out. Positive 1 minus 1 equals to 0. So the equation will be x equals 2 minus 1. This is why the x stands by itself, because I just took the 1 and I moved it to the other side. You don't need to show this step. This is just for you to understand it. So I'm going to erase it, and I'm going to start from scratch. 1 is adding, it goes subtracting. So x equals 2, positive goes to negative, minus 1. X equals 1. What does this mean? Well, it means that if you replace the value of x in the equation, you are supposed to get the result we have on the right side. Let's do the operation. Let's replace. The x is 1, so this is 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 1 is 2 equals 2. So this is check. It is correct. This equation is already solved. Equation number 2. Yes, it's an equation. It has a variable. The exponent is number 1, and it has an equal sign. So we are facing an equation. 2x equals to x to 8. What is the meaning of 2x? Like we have said before, 2x means 2 times x. Remember, when you have a number coefficient with a letter and there's no sign between them, it means multiplication. So this 2 is multiplying the x. So this is 2 times x. And like we said, what is the idea? The idea is to get one number multiplied times 2 will be 8. How can we solve this? We use the same process. The number 2 is multiplying on the left side, so we move the 2 dividing to the other side. Why dividing? Because division is the opposite of multiplication. This is a multiplication, so I take the coefficient 2, the name is coefficient, and we move it to the right side, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So we say x equals, you copy the 8, and then you bring down the 2 dividing. It is very important to understand this. When the 2 goes dividing, it is in the denominator, not the numerator. The 8 stands because it is the numerator, and the number 2 comes dividing. Dividing means the denominator. X equals 8 divided by 2 is 4. Let's solve replacing, see if we get the correct answer. It says that x equals to 4, so I'm going to do, I bring down the 2, and this is a multiplication, so I just open parentheses in order to show the multiplication. This is 4 equals 8. 2 times 4, 8 equals 8, check. We are combining now these 2 steps. It says 3x minus 2 equals 7. It means 3 times a number minus 2 equals to 7. What number is that? We are going to find the value of x. In order to do that, we need to leave the variable x by itself on this side. So if you look at it, we are supposed to have 2 movements. Number 1, we move this one to the right, and then number 2, we move the 3 also to the right. But something important, you cannot move the 3 to the left if you have not moved the subtraction to addition. This is going to be the step number 1 by moving it to the right, not this one. So step number 1 will be, the number 2 is subtracting, it goes adding. So I'm going to bring down the 3x equals, I copy the 7, because the number 7 is waiting for this number to go with it. Not the 2 first, but the 7. The number 2 is subtracting, it goes adding. So this will become plus 2. Therefore, we have 3x equals 9. What is the meaning of 3x? 3 times x. In order to get the value of x, the number 3 is multiplying, it goes dividing to the right side. So I bring down the x equals 9 divided by 3. X equals 9 divided by 3 is 3. Let's replace the result in the equation. When we do that, the result must be the number 7. Let's see. Bring down the 3. X is the number 3, so this is multiplication. 3 times 3 minus 2, 2 equals 7, 7. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 2 equals 7. 9 minus 2, 7 equals 7. Check. And the last equation we are going to solve will be this one. It says 3x divided by 2 equals to 4. 3 times a number divided by 2 is equals to 4. The number 3 times what number divided by 2 will be 4. Okay, so we need to, remember, we need to leave the x by itself on this side. How can we do that? Well, here we have two movements. We got to move the 2 to the right, and also we got to move the number 3 to the right side in that particular order. This one is moved first. You cannot move the 3 if you haven't moved the 2 yet. So let's move it. Bring down the 3x. The number 2 is dividing, so it goes with the opposite of division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So bring down the 3x, copy the equal sign, bring down the 4, and the number 2, which is dividing, it goes to the right side of the equal sign, multiplying. So now we have 3x is equals to 4 times 2. 3x equals 4 times 2 is 8. 3x, 3 times x. I need to get rid of the 3 in order to get the x by itself, which is the result of the equation. So x equals, the number 3 is multiplying, it goes dividing. So this will be 8 over 3. X equals to 8/3. Yeah, let's replace the x right there in order to get the result of 4. Let's do this. This will be 3 times 8/3 divided by 2 equals to 4. Okay, so now we are multiplying. We are multiplying 3 times 8/3. Remember, we multiply the numerators and we multiply the denominators. And I said denominators because yes, we have two denominators right here. The number 3 is over 1. So this is a denominator and this is another denominator. When you multiply the numerators, 3 times 8 is 24 over 3 over 2 equals 4. 24 divided by 3 is equals to 8 over 2 equals to 4. 8 divided by 2 is 4 equals to 4. Check. And this is the way we solve simple linear equations. If you think this was a useful class video, feel free to subscribe and activate the bell in order to receive further notifications. Also, if you have a specific topic of your interest, just write it down in your comment. See you next